Well, hello from Southern Ontario. I've made a video kind of along this lines before, but from a comment I received today, and I appreciate your well wishes in the comments always, but what we have here is our underbody coating. I'll make this make sense in a second. And a rust coat. Yeah, the light's not good. Rust coat alkali paint. So let me turn this around and I'll get to my point. These products are fine on metal that isn't rusted. Once the metal starts to rust, the worst thing you can do is put a top coat on it, especially that rubberized underbody coating stuff. If you take a vehicle that's, say, 5 years old, the frame's rusty and flaky and stuff, and whether you put the spray paint on it or worse yet, that underbody undercoating, what you've done is seal that leprosy in, and it will destroy it. It will just, that frame could last for another 20 years. You put the coating on it like this, the vehicle will break in half. There's a product, I couldn't find one. I grubbed all around. I thought I must have a can of it, or an empty can. Rust converter. That's the stuff that comes in a spray can or in a paint, like a liter can. And it converts the rust to iron oxide. I think it is. The brush-on stuff works better. Now that stuff converts the rust and stops it. For example, my buddy had a 91, well, he's still running it, it's rusting to pieces, 91 GM half-ton. And it was starting to go around the wheel wells and along the underbody from the gravel roads and stuff. And I said, we should power wash all that off. You brush or scrape off the loose rust, and then you use the rust converter, and then you can paint it or undercoat it. And he was like, yeah, I don't really want to spend any money on the truck. And I was like, well, okay, here, I'll just wipe the one wheel well with a rag and spray. I had the rust converter. Comes by different brand names. It's Canadian Tire, your auto jobber stores, CarQuest, stuff like that. And and the beauty of that rust converter stuff, it doesn't stick to paint or anything except rust. The trick with that stuff is to make sure you keep it saturated until the rust stops drinking in the rust converter. You know what I mean? If you just use the spray can stuff, okay, well, hit it again. And when it stops drinking it in, and it's got to stay wet from start through finish, then you can do whatever body work you're going to do, whatever painting, whatever. But if you take a rusty frame and cover it in that underbody undercoating, it will destroy it. And ditto with your body work. These Canadian Tire cans I've got here, they're kind of the cheap stuff. Proform is one brand name. I've used it on fresh steel. Welded up a tire rack or something, just wiped the production oil off, not primed it, not done anything, and put that stuff on. It looks like it's been powder coated, and yeah, you can scrape it with your buck knife, but you won't, this cheaper Canadian Tire stuff, yeah. But again, if it's rusted, and the deeper the rust, the thicker the rust, like on a frame, or these cars with their little unibody pieces and stuff. Do it when the car is brand new, absolutely, certainly. But don't do it once it starts rusting. I was looking at a truck a couple of years ago, a really nice, I think it was a Dodge Dually, and it didn't have the box on and stuff, and it had all been redone. They must have spent a fortune on cans of this underbody stuff. They did the entire thing in underneath. It looked beautiful. They did the spring shackles, they did everything. And I thought, oh, I forget now, the truck was 5 years old or whatever. I forget kind of what year it was I was looking at it and what year the truck was, but I was thinking, like, I'll be driving that down the road in 5 years and it's just going to break into pieces. Because, I mean, they covered everything. So that thing is contained in there. And when I say leprosy, wow, I can't think of a better way to describe it. So if you're doing any body work, patching and carrying on, again, I know I'm beleaguering the point and kind of rambling, but that rust converter stuff, if your vehicle's just starting to go around your wheel wells, that's where they tend to go and stuff, that product works fantastically. Clean it up, scuff it up, get as much of the surface rust as you can, keep it wet. Doesn't stick to your paint, doesn't stick to anything. And then you can go over top with your color matches and your zinc primers are a good one. But anyways, I've rambled enough now.